So I'm actually going to be using some of this artist canvas. It's canvas. It's printable canvas, you all. Where's that been my whole life? Hold on, can't do this one-handed. There it is, Amazon. We're just going to put it in the printer. Come over here to the image that I selected, that I have in a file that I bought off Etsy. And I'm always going to do fill the page. And then we are going to print. I'm always like, will it go through? I've tried to print on stuff before and it's like, no, no go, too thick, too thick, too thick. But this is a Epson inkjet tank printer I've had for a few years now. And it seems to be doing it. I haven't seen paper jam yet. Oh, there it is. I do think the color's a little bit lighter, but that's beautiful. That is so pretty. But I'm gonna seal it in, and then I want to brown it up a little bit. I think it's looking a little bit warm, so just taping it down. I know, I wish they would print out true to color, but they don't always. So we're going to be using some polyacrylic to seal it in. This is the satin finish. I like to find matte, but matte is hard to find. So I don't want this looking so, I want it to look like an old canvas. So Pen Art Antique Paste. Just gonna get it on there. Oh, I know it's scary at first. I know, it just looks like a hot mess. I made it look like a hot mess. Hold on. Wait for it till I blended it. Shot clock. See? There's a lot of texture to the canvas, so kind of needed to disperse it with a brush first. But oh, yes, that looks like an old canvas. Now I'm going to set this off to the side and let that dry for a little bit before sealing it in with another type of top coat. So I just want to protect this canvas. So I got the Pet Art clear varnish in the mat. We got to get it shaken up. It's got some, all its yummies are in the bottom. I think my brush will fit in here. I think it will. I'm just going to apply it on. I let the antique paste sit for a little bit, you know, a couple hours. I love grabbing old frames that everybody's like, that's damaged. We don't want that. Yeah. I don't care. The detail. Once you paint this up, you don't notice the damage. It just looks like that perfectly imperfect of an old frame. So let's clean it up as best as I can. Which is that. Take a moment, tape off the back. I like to keep the character, and I like to have something for my item to rest upon while it's waiting for paint to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and seal this in, prime it with some shellac. I did stir up my shellac to make sure all my yummies are mixed together. It should be that creamish color, not the clear brown color. For my frame color, we are going to do flour sack, a little bit of antique ironstone, and a little bit of curry. I don't want to have this bright white frame if I antiqued the picture. And I like the antique ironstone, but I mean, it's definitely a tannish color, but I also, when I get it done, I see pink. just going to add just a half a curry. And then see what we get. The nice thing about it is you can kind of mix your paint up dry. Oh yeah, that, yep. It's amazing what that little bit of curry will just take away that pinkness in the antique ironstone. Yeah, so now it's not as stark white. Remember, scrape along your bottoms and your side, getting all that powder incorporated. Kind of have to tap to get into the detail areas, which makes it a little bit on the thicker side, but worth it. See, once you paint it, you don't even see the damage. Some of it's chipping off. That's okay. We're just going to go in and we're going to sand it and see what it does. We're looking for old patina. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and seal it in. I'm going to use some dark oil wax. It may darken it up a little bit more than I'm looking for that aged patina to go with the canvas that we did. Or maybe it won't. You never know. Might need to get into that detail. I need a brush. That funny how the brush looks darker, brushing it on. And if any chips off, that's just what it's meant to do. Can't be gentle. It's always funny. We do milk paint in the hopes that it'll do something amazing, and then when it does something amazing, we get all nervous, like, "Oh, you're chipping off. You chipped." Well, that's what we were going for. Aren't we silly people? You don't even know the frame was all broken. And now I know this isn't everybody's vibe. That's okay. That's what makes the world go round. We all have different vibes. The tape works and it holds it down. That's all we wanted it to do. And it does feel like canvas because it is canvas. So I'm actually going to take a piece of Dollar Tree board, poster board that's a little thicker. And get this to the size, then I can cut my canvas. That is not even close. Oh, it was that piece. That's why. I'm like, what? That is so far off. Okay. I just need something to flip this over on. I had something on here. There you go. I think I'm just going to do this. And will my handy dandy, I've had it for a million years, scrapbook cutter cut through canvas? We will find out. Yeah, I could have gave it one more little rung and it would have. Okay. This square. There we go. I'm going to decoupage it onto this board using some of the Fusion's Transfer decoupage gel. This is nice because it won't change the color at all, won't bleed through. sure that it's good and adhered to the board. I don't think it matters which way we put it in, but why it's still wet, I think is the best time to put it in. You would not believe how many times you use this handy dandy tool. So I'm just going, even though it's a tight fit, I'm going right through that foam board into the side. Okay, now I'm going to take some double stick tape right out all the way up to the edges. Some contractor's paper. See, didn't have to worry about that back, did we? Ooh. I find the easiest way for me to cut is just using a sander. I like that the sander gives it that little perfectly imperfect back. And if you want to, you can spray it, mist it with some water. That just helps tighten it up and gives it a little bit of wrinkles, a little bit more age. Then we're just going to put a little hanging system on. A little over 14. I'm going to do just some poke some holes. That just helps get your screw started. So how amazing is this? Though, you know, it's the part of a railing to like a front porch banister. What is it called? I don't know what it's called, but it's beautiful and I love it. But it's got nails. It's not a finished product, so I can't tell you that people would be like, "Oh, I want to buy that," you know, because it's not a finished product and it's got nails. And then I have to figure out if can I get the nails out. If you're lucky enough, they'll be rusted and they'll break. If not, we have to figure out something else. And those things are so in there. They're not easy. So I was able to get one out. Not an easy job. This one just kept bending. So then I decided we're just hammering them so they're flat. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of this air dry clay in the wood and fill in that hole. Not that the holes matter, especially in a salvage piece like this, but I'm just going to do it because I got it out and I needed to fill that great big hole I created. I actually got my nail set stuck. So you have a big paint line, maybe some caulk, so we're going to sand. Caulk doesn't sand very well. Well, it's beveled. It's, you know, it rounds, and you have to have a place where you need to let your paint dry. So that was the easiest way to cut it. Didn't have to be perfect. It's a salvage piece. I'm gonna do, especially on that raw wood, some shellac so my paint doesn't soak in many layers of paint. So I tried to get the lip off, which I probably did not. Our main thing is to paint it. So somebody will want to use this beautiful piece as a centerpiece. So I have a little of this paint left from doing a frame that I'm going to go ahead and put in the middle because the other already has cream underneath it. And then I'll put my white because there's, I tell you, there's something about white salvage. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and seal this coat in. I'm still going to put some white, even though it might look white on camera. It is definitely cream in color, but we're going to seal it in. You can see those big cracks going on. I'm hoping for some double cracking and chippiness. We'll find out. So let's seal this in. Flowers. The next layer is going to be some flour sack by Sweet Pickens. Just flour sack alone. Whoops. If you're going to try any one of the milk paints, I think your white classic would be a great one to give it a try. I get that little lip first that was hiding underneath here. So I'm not doing the whole bottom. I'll double lazy Susan it. Well, let's see what it does when we sand it. Totally like the cream color coming through. Got some paint to remove now. Oh, it's a big guy. That's for sure. Seal this milk paint in with Sweet Pickens dark oil wax. Oh. I like dark oils or dark waxes because they get into the crevices and they bring all the chippiness and the crackling out. And then I'm just going to use some clear fusion wax to rub it in. And now it really looks salvaged, doesn't it? Some of the clear wax on the bottom. I think it'll be happy. Art of Primitives is the folk art aspect of it, the little unique odd shapes. I'm sure it was just like a little footrest bench, but they made it in the shape of a turtle. Somebody along the lines, it's been stained red. Whatever the black paint is, that is chipping off. And of course, I just can picture like a green turtle. So I'm going to start sanding some of the extra paint that's already coming off a little bit more. So some of the is tricky to get to. And then our turtle, he has a broken neck. That's okay. That's what we're here for. Get that paint off there and we will fix him so he doesn't come apart. Now I gotta figure out, I think either somebody put a screw in there trying to save it. It's there. I think it might have been always there. There. There we go. It'll be better. Take some wood glue. Then I'm going to do a little CA glue to act as a clamp. And I'm going to shoot a Brad's nail, a little short brad nail. And then I think we fixed his neck. There is a little crack over here. I'll do some filling. It doesn't matter either way. It's not a piece that is keeping it together, but we still see the crack. So we'll just wipe off that excess and just give it a little sanding. Okay, we fixed his neck. I'm happy about that. So we're just going to give him a wipe down. So he has some hard angles to get into. So I'm going to do a couple coats of shellac, letting it dry in between coats. What color do you color the turtle? Oh. So I think I'm going to go dark. So we're going to do basil and in a pickle. I used to do a flying pig. I used to find a flying pig all the time and repaint it in a pickle, and it always did really well. But in a pickle on its own is a nice bright color. So we're going to go half basil and darken it up. Yes, you can definitely mix the powder paints of sweet pickin' and make your own little concoction. And it's funny, the darker the pigment, the more I feel like you don't need as much water. You need more water, actually. See, I don't know why that like the darker pigments are like that, but the black doesn't seem to be like that. But basil definitely likes it. It's thirsty. It likes its water. But yeah, that reminds me of a turtle color. Okay, we gotta tip a turtle. I gotta watch his neck. I always like to start off with my hard areas first, which is of course the bottom. But with the shellac being on there, it's nice because it grabs the paint. There's a lot of areas I don't want to forget to paint. I'm not going to worry about the wee bottom, the wee bottom feet, because I don't need to flip my turtle back over. That's why I always say you want to, milk paint takes a while to dry, and it does tend to, sometimes run. So you can figure out a point that's not a main point to leave it unpainted so you can work on your project. That's what I do. Looks like a turtle now. He's so cute. But now I gotta sand it. Okay, we'll see how this goes. So he did some wonderful crackle. I don't need to make any design on his back. He's as cute as could be. So, Sweet Pickins dark oil wax. I'm doing a turtle wax. Isn't there a brand of that? Or is that not a thing anymore? Oh. Knew it was not going to be the easiest thing to paint and all these little crevices, but I think it's a turtle. I know there's always going to be those items that I make over that people will be like, you should have left it as is. And I know the strawberries are cute. And I know that somebody hand painted it and they signed it. But this was at the sale on the third day. So nobody was grabbing it. So y'all, it's just how it goes. You know, I don't know. Us poor creators have to defend ourselves on our choices of what we do. But if I can envision making something wanted, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I feel like it's fair game if it's been there that long. So first, I think it's maybe been used as a sewing box. So whatever left. I'm going to take the sander a little bit to it. I know, don't turn the channel. That's fine, y'all. I can take it. Okay, now I'm just going to wipe it down. Get that sanding dust off there. This is just a little, unfortunately, I think it's this banding that was undesirable. I might round that bottom a little bit more. Not taking off the maker's mark, I was taking off the $10 that somebody wrote on it back whenever. That was really rough in texture, so I wanted to give it a sanding. Because I'm going to tape it off because I'm not going to paint that part. I'm going to go ahead and prime this with some shellac. We've got metal, we've got wood. So I want to make sure that it sticks to that shiny wood. So for that little box with the lid, we're going to do a little bit of curry. I'm just going straight curry. Love this color. It definitely has that old-timey vibe, and then depending on how you finish it, mix it to the consistency. The directions will tell you half and half, but you do you, and once you've used it long enough, you kind of learn how to play with it for your needs. I like to put it on a little bit thicker. That's just my vibe. Black is dry. And it's always nice to have like the bottom taped off or some area you can tape off because milk paint just takes a while to dry. You can, some people do use a heat gun. I don't. I find because I shellac underneath or put some type of primer, it bubbles. So I don't want to do that. So I usually just have to let it go on its own. So it's nice to have a place to sit it down, an unpainted area. And it's funny because it has like little fakey wormholes maybe, or just distressing. distressing. Trying to add more character to it. And I'm not going to worry about filling in those with paint. I'm a fan of using the Stalmeister brushes because I just like the control and a little bit of paint, and because they're small, the cleanup is so easy. And I don't feel like I'm wasting paint rinsing it down my drain. But there again, we all just do what works for us. As you know, brushes are an investment. Sometimes when you've mixed up milk paint, you might mix it up where it runs. You can add a little bit of like a spray bottle of water, try to fix that run, or just let it be character. It happens to me sometimes. I don't stress about it. Every imperfection to me is character, so that's just my way of thinking. And if you love the perfectly imperfect of flipping secondhand finds, please, please help us out by subscribing to the channel, sharing our content, commenting. That all helps our algorithm, and it's free. It really helps us out. It helps us grow. It helps us be seen and heard. And as I said, it is free. It costs you nothing. Oh, the cute little bucket. Go ahead, take the tape off because I'm going to be sanding it now. So I have Sweet Pickins dark oil wax, and I'm going to start off with the inside first. Change that patina a little bit. And it's really dry in there anyway. There's some staining I couldn't touch because it was raw. Oh, look how yummy that looks with that. Oh. I always like the fusion wax with this, the aging wax, but the oil just gives it a different patina. It's funny how we tend to favor something all of a sudden, like you use it, and I think the first time I used it, I don't know, I probably wasn't very good with milk paint at that time. That's for sure. I too, milk paint is definitely a learning curve. But I always say once you figure it out, you become obsessed with it.